Let's bring in from the Foundation for Defense Democracy, Dr. Jonathan Schanzer. Doctor, thanks so much for joining the program this morning. Let's talk about not only this day of jubilation, but what's next after this? Now that we got the hostages home and now that we've had two parties to agree to peace, how do we keep peace?
Well, it's a good question. It's great to be with you. An historic morning here. Look, we got Donald Trump on his way to Egypt in just a little bit. I think after he speaks to the Israeli parliament, to the Knesset, he's going to be actually going with Benjamin Netanyahu, with the prime minister of Israel. They're going to go to Egypt. There's going to be a summit. And as I understand it right now, Indonesia will be there. Qatar will be there. The Egyptian president is actually going to speak to Prime Minister Netanyahu for the first time in months, maybe even more than a year. So what we have, I think, after this is an opportunity for the Arab world, the Muslim world, Israel, the United States, to begin to come together to talk about exactly what you've asked. What comes next? How do we keep the calm after this initial phase? Now, we still need to see the deceased hostages returned. As we understand it right now, it's not an easy thing to find them. There are bodies that have yet to be uncovered by Hamas. I think the Israelis will be working in good faith as long as that search continues. But then comes the question after that: who rebuilds? Who's going to pay for it? Who's going to be allowed in? How is security going to be maintained? So we've got a lot of tough steps ahead of us, but this is a huge day that has brought an end to a nightmare that has lasted for 2 years.
Dr. Schanzer, can you explain what's the mindset right now in the Gaza Strip? They elected Hamas, so you would think they would support them. Did they do that out of fear, or do they really support them? And what is their mindset? Because they have to be happy they're getting their prisoners back. They have to be happy they're getting humanitarian aid. And they have to be happy that the president wants to rebuild that area and have the support of Middle Eastern countries.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's interesting. Hamas was elected by the Palestinian people back in 2006. There was a political standoff that followed, and then a civil war where Hamas conquered the Gaza Strip by force. Ever since then, there has not been an election. There are no political parties. This has been essentially Taliban rule inside the Gaza Strip. So you have a lot of frustrated people who stood by helplessly while Hamas launched a war that brought nothing but destruction and rubble to the Gaza Strip. So 2 million people have suffered here. They don't care about the people that are returning. They're, of course, the hangers-on from the Hamas's support base that maybe are still happy about what's happened here. But it's hard to imagine that anybody in Gaza right now will look out at the horizon and be pleased. It is a lot of rubble. It has been a lot of death and destruction. Hamas could have prevented all of that if they had just done 2 years ago what they just did today. And it took Donald Trump to chicken wing them and cajole them and to leverage the Israeli victory that had really already been achieved. They were just ready to fight to the very end. It took Donald Trump to get in there, working with the Israelis and some others from the Muslim world, from the Arab world, and we're now finally seeing the fruits of this. But this should have ended a long time ago. I don't think there's much support left for Hamas inside the Gaza Strip. They run the country, or the territory rather, at the point of a gun, and that's not lost on anybody right now.
Is there any scenario moving forward where you see Israel or the rest of the world accepting Hamas as in a leadership role in Gaza?
I mean, absolutely not. If you look at the president's 20-point plan, he has called for the dismantling of Hamas. If you heard him today as he was speaking before there were journalists at the Knesset, at Israel's parliament, he got up in front of them and he said, they will dismantle. He's made it very clear that this terrorist group is not going to continue to run the Gaza Strip. Now, we'll have to see how the Arab world, the Muslim world responds, whether we hear the same thing echoed today in Egypt when the president meets with these world leaders. But right now, as we all understand it, Hamas will not have the ability to continue to rule the Gaza Strip. They have forfeited that as a result of the war that they launched on October 7th, 2023, killing 1,200 people, taking more than 250 hostages. They forfeited that right. And you can look right now at everything that has happened, the destruction, the chaos in the Middle East. I think most of the region would agree their time is up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Dr. Schanzer, thank you so much for coming on with us.
Appreciate it.
Always good to get your opinions.